There are, a few television theme songs that sound better, speeded up.
Oh, really? That could be an interesting game someday. What theme songs do you prefer speeded up?
I can only think of the Heels one right now, but there are others. I just can't think of them. The Heels one is so good, and then you hear it regular speed, and you're like, it's okay.
And Heels is
an actual television show, as Dustin keeps trying to.
The song is from the Band of Horses guy.
This does sound like Dustin music.
Yeah. It's Dustin music.
It's Guster.
You know which?
Not Guster. Why do you say Guster? Why? I'm not the Guster Gin Blossoms guy. I know
you're
country.
You're the Blues Traveler guy.
I'm not even the Blues Traveler guy.
You are.
I'm the Ryan Adams guy, ashamed of Ryan Adams guy, and listen to everything that's sort of inspired by Ryan Adams.
Everyone's been ashamed of being a Ryan Adams fan at some point.
Sure.
That's just you're over 30.
You know which theme song goes harder than it deserves to is Into the Badlands.
Yes.
And that theme song was composed by Mike Shinoda of Linkin Park. So, scoreboard,
okay.
Dustin.
All right. All right.
It's a good theme song.
I thought that you liked the Succession theme song sped up.
Oh, I do. Oh, that's it. Exactly. Yes, that is another one that's much better.
Yeah, you're also wrong there, but that's fine.
No, have you heard it faster?
Still good,
yeah,
but it's good as is.
No, it's so good. Speed it up.
Oh my
gosh. All right.
Oh, and the good. Not that you either one of them, but both Evil and The Good Fight are so good. Speed it up because these very the orchestra, instrumental, whatever. Oh, they're so good.
I thought you were going to argue that Evil was good at its regular pace, because it is.
It is good at its regular pace, but it's better because I don't know, the crescendo part is so much more animated at a faster speed.
Is your favorite Christmas music the Chipmunks? It's finally fast enough for you. Yeah.
I don't really like Christmas music, but the girls did dress up like Alvin and Chipmunks for Halloween.
Aww.
With their best friend.
That's cute.
Yeah. Well, it's also one of those things it's fairly easy to do, and you don't have to look weird or embarrassed. There's no embarrassing costume. It's just basically you all color coordinate your hoodies.
Yeah.
And then Hattie wears a backwards hat. And Meadow wears glasses because she already does.
Well, next year, tell them to do Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Oh, yeah. That would be better. Okay, let's see. What do we do with Survivor? What is Comedy Revenge? Is that a show?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's the second season of Comedy Royale, the Korean competition show where they're competing in some kind of insane comedy. It shouldn't work, but it does, and that's all. I mean, it won't be. It won't take long. I mean, this could be the podcast.
I'm not going to put anything on because I'm just going to end up talking about something that'll end up counting.
I'm just writing shows. Oh. No, I just did because when you said it was the Korean show, I was like, oh yeah, I watched the Korean show. I haven't finished it, but I did watch the second season of Hellbound.
Yeah.
Started.
Oh yeah,
it's quite good.
I had that on my list and then I deleted it.
Oh my god, it's actually.
I like
good.
the first season, but
yeah,
it's too much. I get
the hardest part about the second season is remembering what happened in the first season because you're like, I feel like these characters I'm supposed to know.
They all went to hell in the beginning. I mean, in the end, I thought.
No.
It's just what I remember. I remember wrongly.
You just remember the title?
No, I remember people.
You're like, everyone went to hell. It's called Hellbound.
No, that was the one where people went to hell, right?
Yeah, they get dragged. Well, they get dragged away, and you assume Like they're supposed to have gone to hell or something. But then like two things happen, I guess, at the end of the first season. One is that somebody comes back and then and they're able to, like, the baby doesn't get claimed. Like as a whole, like the drama for the last half of the show was that like this newborn got one of the prophecies and it was going to get, and it's like, well, this is a child, like this clearly, like the whole thing was everyone was trying to imagine what the sins were if you got one of these prophecies saying you were going to be like going to hell in however much time. And so the whole drama of the baby was like, well, the baby clearly can't be a sinner. So like whatever is going on is not about sin. And so you have the churches and the cults trying to cover it up and everything. And then the parents, like there's this big showdown when it's like the baby's claiming time, you know, like the beasts are going to come and drag the baby away. And they fight back and the parents like manage to protect it. Like the parents get taken, but the baby survives. So then the baby also gets like, that also is all covered up because nobody wants to. So this season picks up like a few years after all of that. And you also find out that the leader of the main kind of religious cult thing, the reason he's involved, like he started all of it, was that he had gotten one of those prophecies like 20 years before. He was one of those randos that just like, you're going to go to hell in 20 years. So he had a long time to plan. So he starts this whole religion. And so like, it's him meeting up with the detective and explaining it all right before he gets taken. So yeah, the second season is now, interesting. Yeah. So now the second season starts with that guy coming back to life and you see like what he went through. And so it's all about like, well, but it's still focused on like, what are these different cults and the government and everyone, what are they going to do now that like people are coming back? Like, what is that new piece of information? How is that going to impact like how people are reading or what they believe about this whole process?
No, well, yeah, okay. That sounds interesting. How many episodes? 6?
I think so. Yeah, it's not much.
After all of this stuff that's going on in our lives is over, then I'll have more time to devote to shows. You know what?
I think you've got time tomorrow night. Just binge 6 episodes. You can just watch it.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do with that 6 to 8 hours of Korean drama time? And for you, that's like 4 hours. So.
Right.
It's true.
Honestly, it'll be a really cathartic. Just
probably.
People getting dragged to hell.
Will prefer that.
Yeah.
Should we start?
Yeah.
I thought we started.
We could have started. I mean, this could all be episode. I don't think we've said anything bad.
No, I want to. Dustin, is your shirt LL Bean?
It is.
Okay. I think I have that shirt.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not wearing it right now. I'm wearing a different one.
It's a very popular shirt in Maine. Whenever I go somewhere, I have like 3 of these in different colors. Whenever I go somewhere, invariably there's like another guy or two
wearing like that. Yeah.
Shirt.
Yeah. No, I just realized I was like, I think that's the color pattern my mom got me last year for Christmas. I was just like looking through my flannels in my shirt because it's getting cold.
They're super comfortable.
Yeah.
All right, this is all episode. I'm deeming it now. We'll do the intro shortly. But I just want you guys to know that a cat has just pooped on the floor and is currently scraping at the floor, pretending to try to cover it with kitty litter.
Oh, my cat was doing it. My leaky cat fell asleep. We have the wood stove going, so the floor is really warm. So she was like passed out on the wood floor, and we're like watching TV, and we just see her sit up, look over, and start doing the digging thing. And I'm like, you leaked, didn't you? You got really comfortable and you leaked a little.
Poor thing. This cat does it for fun. It's right next to the litter box. It's like literally right next to the litter box, and she's just like, no, I'm gonna poop here instead.
Now you have to smell
Speaking of that,
you should probably go.
How is the pretty litter going, Tori?
We never bought another bag. We switched back to the other stuff.
Oh, you bailed on it? Not for you.
It was fine. It just was kind of...
Isn't it kind of pricey?
Well, it's pricey, but it's also like, it was almost too fine. So it like stuck to her and and it didn't clump that well. Like we got the clumping kind, but it was just kind of like, I don't know. their whole like it's just one bag for a month. I'm like, ew, no, there was not enough in there for 1 month. Like it just got gross. So went back to whatever the all natural. It's like walnut shells crunched up or whatever, but it works and it covers the smell better.
If it's in the basement, far, far away from everybody else, then 1 month is fine.
Yeah.
I can already smell it. This is going to be great. This is a good episode.
Times, Dan.
Welcome to another episode of Podjiba, the Pajiba Television Podcast. I'm Pajiba comedy editor Dan Hamamura. With me, as always, our Pajiba managing editor Tori Preston.
Hello, Dan. I am so sorry for you.
It's okay. She also pooped under my desk overnight, so I also had to clean that up. No, it's fine. This is just what happens in this house. And the producer of Brainworms the Musical, Dustin Rolls.
Hello, Dan.
Hello.
Oh my God! Wait, the Andy Samberg bit from the John Mulaney musical. It was the best. Like that whole. I love the musical segments whenever John Mulaney's on. But Andy Samberg in the bear suit rapping, doing the Hamilton rap about baby bear carcass.
Yeah,
so perfect. I listened to that segment so many times.
It was a fun episode, which I'm sure. I mean, if you've seen Dustin's review, you know that he also enjoyed it and gave it a pretty positive review.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even though it was weird because it was the last episode before the election, it had a weirdly long cold open. Plus, it also had stand-ups always get a longer than normal monologue because they're telling a set. So like the first act of the show ends up being way longer than you'd expect.
Yeah.
I actually almost made it a question for this week's quiz, which is how many live skits were there actually on SNL this week?
Probably not very many.
Yeah, because there were a couple of them that were obviously pre-recorded. Like
not including the monologue, there were 3.
Only 3,
which is insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not including Weekend Update, obviously.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I put SNL in the rundown just to talk about it briefly, but it's really just, I don't know. It was a good episode. It's fun. I mean, John Mulaney, I'm sure he always brings back, he also brings back writers he worked with, to guest write. I mean, they always write the musical. It's him, I think, Simon Rich, and a third writer who I'm blanking on. But, yeah.
And then Pete Davidson shows up to do the...
Yeah, Pete Davidson shows up.
For doing the faux pas, like the thing that you don't do.
Yeah.
I also feel like when we talk about those musical sketches, and I love that they're like a staple now, like they're a recurring bit of Mulaney's appearances. Mm-hmm. And it's all about the music and how interesting, but we don't talk enough about how accurate the premise is. Like every single thing, It's all framed around the thing that you don't do. Right. And they're so accurate. Mm-hmm. You go through it, it's like don't order lobster at a diner in New York. Actually, to 100%, those diner menus are huge, and the lobster is it's not there to be ordered.
Yeah.
Buying underwear in Central Park. I mean, in Times Square, no reason. Mm-hmm. My favorite is the don't use the bathroom at a bodega. Mm-hmm. Don't.
Yeah.
Ordering sushi from LaGuardia, from the Go Express at LaGuardia.
Yeah,
nope.
Yeah.
And then this one seems random, but also accurate.
Don't
buy the milk at the Duane Reade in Port Authority.
Why? Jesus Christ.
Why would you? Mm-hmm. But seriously, don't use a bathroom at a bodega.
Yeah, I always assume that bodegas don't have bathrooms.
I've never seen one.
Yeah.
They shouldn't.
But I guess must have them.
They have to. Well, not public, but the people who work there have to use the bathroom.
So we don't call them bodegas in Boston? I forget what we called them. Maybe they were just corner shops.
Yeah.
They were all crappy sub shops.
Well, the problem is that you can't call them, they need to be bodegas so that you can have a bodega cat.
Yes.
And so they should all be called bodegas, except that, like the ones out here, like we have two stores that if I lived in New York would be bodegas, but instead they're like liquor stores, which is not the same. There's no sandwich counter. You can't, like, you can get most of the stuff you can get at a bodega, but not quite. They also don't have cats, which is unfortunate, but
yeah. No, it's all cats and like really good hungover breakfast sandwiches.
Yeah. Yeah. The breakfast sandwich is always shockingly good.
Yeah. And a variety of snacks. Like it's the snacks from around the world that are probably expired, but like you're going to find something really interesting and they're all just kind of crammed together. And it's fine.
I always enjoyed going to my bodega and, other than getting the breakfast sandwich or even like the regular sandwiches were solid, was like the random packaged muffin when it's like 2 a.m. and I'm just like, I just need something that's like dessert-y, but not like, I don't want like the brownie. That's too far.
Right.
You're the guy that buys the muffin and the cellophane.
It's great. It's been there for like 2 years. It's still fresh. It's amazing.
No. I mean, okay.
Yeah. My favorite thing about bodegas, and this was something I didn't realize wasn't a thing until like when you leave New York, but bodegas have because it's a New York thing, like having a wide variety of seltzers to choose from. Like, and it's it's not just like, you know, Schweppes or whatever. It's like you have tons of seltzer and you go to corner shops or whatever, you know, elsewhere. And it's like, they might not even have seltzer. And it always throws me, I'm like, where's your seltzer cooler? Like, why can't I get a Celeray? Like, what the hell is this?
You get Fanta at a corner shop. That's what they're for. That's why Fanta exists.
Fanta sounds too fancy. You get an orange
like the
crush.
orange Fanta? Oh, the orange crushes. That's a southern thing. Those are delicious.
Also, I really like the Beppo sketch personally.
Beppo I thought the Beppo sketch was great.
Beppo was both creepy and adorable.
Yes.
Which I don't know how that
super
works.
Creepy.
But...
Those eyes were something.
Oh man. It also took a long time to be funny. Like it was so straight up.
Yeah, I like that it was very
beginning.
earnest.
Yeah.
And then you're just kind of waiting for it to turn.
Yeah.
But then the turn is that he makes it home.
Yeah.
And then makes out with John Mulaney's wife.
Okay, I actually have several SNL questions on this week's quiz.
Oh, so
are we already spoiling all your questions?
How many more? Yet.
What if we spoil all of his questions?
Are you
Don't spoil my questions.
If you ask us who Hillary Clinton's running mate was, I will remember.
Damn it.
I knew it.
First question.
It's obviously Tim Scott, okay? They said it in the sketch.
Tim Nollins.
Yeah. All right, before we get to Dustin's quiz, Dustin, what are you drinking?
I am drinking Kona wine again because it's really my favorite drink. The Trader Joe's, they have it again at Trader Joe's.
Oh.
Kono. And it's the whole bottle of wine night.
Oh no!
Because I need it.
Why do you need it, Dustin?
Don't you need it tomorrow?
He's got another one for tomorrow.
Yeah, I got red wine for tomorrow night.
Oh, okay.
So I finally I went to Trader Joe's and bought a bottle of wine. It was $9.99. It's Lussac Saint Emilion, Grand Vin de Bordeaux from 2022.
Wow, is that
$9.99?
Is that like a blended red or is it?
No, it's just a Bordeaux.
Noir? Oh,
no,
Bordeaux.
It's a Bordeaux.
Is a Bordeaux, is that dry or is that sweet? I'm not sure what a Bordeaux is.
I don't know what it's supposed to be. It's a little dry, but also has a good fruity.
Okay, all right.
You know, kind of maybe almost a little fatty. It's good. It's fine.
Oh.
It was, but also not too heavy.
Okay,
I was worried it was going to feel very like Pinot Noir, and it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't like Pinot Noir.
I'm not good at explaining wines.
No, that's okay. I just know Pinot Noir, and I know like the Malbec.
Yes.
I don't like Pinot Noir, and I do like like anything that like the Cabernet Sauvignon, is that white or red?
No, that's red because Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah, I like that. I like that too. Yeah. But yeah, I don't like them when it's too dry. I like them fruity and a little.
Yeah,
fatty.
it's got to be a little. Yeah. So this was pretty. I didn't realize when I bought it. It is Trader Joe's Reserve, so it is one of their branded. Probably hence the price point, but it's fine. I haven't.
Do you think anyone else describes wine as fatty? Because I like the way that's described, but it sounds also wrong.
You know, sometimes it just sort of leaves it kind of leaves a film on your tongue.
Sure. Yeah.
Not in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just haven't had a red wine night, so we'll see how this goes.
Let's see if you drink the whole bottle.
I did use a little bit for cooking, but the rest of it is all for me.
What did you cook?
Well, so I call it stroganoff, but it follows
red wine stroganoff.
So I don't follow any of the actual. It's like I took one recipe and then I just like butchered it. So I don't even use beef. I use sausage. Like I get like a flavorful sausage because that gives you a lot of like fat and like seasoning in it because I like mine a little bit spicy. And then, which it probably shouldn't be, but then it's mushrooms, carrots, celery, everything, broth. And then, when you're done, you add a little bit of Dijon and a little bit, you're supposed to add sour cream. I do Greek yogurt just to make it creamy.
That's better. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lots of pepper, lots of like black pepper. And then I do, if I'm not using a sausage that has paprika in it, I'll add some paprika. And then I'll do some parsley at the end. I love parsley. I was having this argument with my husband because he thinks parsley is superfluous. Like it's overrated, unnecessary. And I'm like, that is not true. Like you don't make a chicken soup without like a classic chicken soup. You don't make chicken soup without parsley. And I like certain dishes. Like I like the flavor of parsley.
Yeah.
So I tend to, but when I buy parsley, I'm like, I will use all of it. Because if I don't, it's just going to sit there. Mm-hmm. So when I'm going to put parsley in a recipe, I put way too much parsley in it. I'm like, I use the
parsley here because my wife will just eat it.
Really?
Well, she's got that thing, which I think I told you guys, like before she's, after she got pregnant, I think she had some sort of like, it wasn't like pica, but like
something similar, like
Right. So she was clearly missing something, and she got it apparently by eating parsley constantly. I was buying 3, 4, 5 parsley things a week, and she would just like eat it raw.
Wow.
Right. But then maybe 2 years ago, she started taking her iron supplements and doesn't need the parsley anymore.
Oh.
But she'd still eat it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If it's around, she loves it.
I love parsley. See, so my husband is just wrong.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll tell him that. Thank you. That's all I needed.
What did you cook tonight, Dan?
I cooked nothing because we have leftover pizza because we had pizza yesterday. So,
what was on the pizza?
Oh,
we should talk about what we cooked instead of what we drink, just for variety.
We can talk about both, Dustin.
That's fair.
It's just pepperoni, and then one was pepperoni and mushroom because when you're feeding a small person,
you need to add something. Yeah.
Totally get that.
Yep.
So, yeah. I'm drinking, by the way, Glenlivet. I finally remembered the name of the real basic scotch I've been drinking all this time. And it's Glenlivet. It's the last of it. So, next week.
That's basic? It sounds fancy.
No, this is like the $25 bottle. This is like.
I don't know anything about scotch.
Glenlivet's nice. It's not, there's nothing, it's great to have around, but this is like the cheap bottle. This is not the fancy stuff.
So now that it's the last of it and you finally remember the name, are you going to get another bottle of it just so you will have remembered the name? Or are you going to switch it up again so it's a mystery?
I only got it because it was at Costco. So, that's why it was cheap too. I should have gotten 2 bottles, but oh well.
Maybe they still have it. How often do you do Costco runs?
As infrequently as possible, because I've discovered that So I used to love going to Costco, and something flipped in me a few years ago. But this is like pre-COVID, but like something flipped in me like pre-COVID, where all of a sudden I was like, oh no, going to Costco is the worst, and like everyone is a terrible cart driver, and it's not worth it. It's ultimately not worth like whatever savings I'm getting.
Yeah.
But I will do it it's basically like I'll do the Costco run when it's like I need toilet paper and paper towels. So then I get that, and then whatever other
else.
random targets but that's the only thing I'm actually going there for.
Yeah.
Because anything else, also, we don't have a lot of storage in our house, so there's no real, like, those are two things that, I can buy in bulk and we'll go through quickly.
Yeah.
But anything else, it's just like, I don't know. So, but, their liquor is often pretty cheap, so.
I need to get a Costco membership.
I have a BJ, or I used to go to the BJ's, and I used to have to go once a week when the kids were tiny. You had to get diapers, and there was so much stuff. Oh, and I was so glad to be done with that. I hated it.
I definitely, I have a subscription for diapers. They just get shipped to me. If I need them sooner, I order it faster. If I need them, if I have plenty, I'll postpone it. But the diaper, I've never had to rush out to get diapers. And I have to say, that's been very nice.
Yeah.
That is one thing. Good. Every once in a while, though, we're like, we could really save money. Maybe we should rethink that diaper subscription. I was like, no. I'm usually the one who thinks about it. I'm like, we could get cheaper diapers. But then I'm like, these are really, they work.
Yeah.
The system works. We can save money in other ways.
Mm-hmm. All right. I guess we should get to the game, maybe.
Let's do it. I had Southern biscuits and gravy because I wanted to make it. And I needed some comfort food, and my family had never had it.
What?
Really?
But they live with you. Have you never made it for them?
No, because I assumed that they would not care for it.
But
I was right.
Did they they didn't like it?
Declan liked it okay.
Okay. And what kind of sausage do you use? Do you do the...
Oh, I didn't use sausage. I used bacon gravy.
Oh, I would like to try that. But that's my problem. I love sausage gravy and biscuits, or gravy, and I have a friend whose family is in Kentucky, and she would always make it her family's recipe, and it was simple and so good. And then you try to, but if you go to a restaurant in the Northeast and try to get sometimes they'll have country gravy and biscuits, and it's awful. It is bland and terrible. And I'm like, just get this the crappy bacon or the crappy sausage, or it's supposed to be cheap and greasy and salty and delicious.
Yes,
and but thick. It should all. It's but the biscuit should be good and it's I don't know how New Englanders can ruin such a simple dish.
And fried chicken too. New Englanders suck at fried chicken.
It's just terrible.
All right.
Sorry.
You're not going to be terrible at the quiz, at least for the first question, because you already know the answer.
Well, whose is it? Wait, also, I want to point out, I realized this after the fact last week, but Dustin's trick lately has been to give Dan all the questions he thinks Dan can answer and me all the questions he knows I can't answer. So there is, and it's not just bias, I think it's cronyism.
Oh, I was going to say it's misogyny.
It's all of it.
Yeah.
But I just want to point that out. Let's pay attention.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Dory, SNL featured 2 political cameos this weekend. Kamala Harris and what Virginia senator and former Hillary Clinton running mate?
Oh my God, what if I get it wrong? Tim Kaine.
That is right. What former SNL cast member who spoke about abortion on an update segment as a character called Goober the Clown back in the day announced this week that she was pregnant from IVF?
I have absolutely no idea. I'm so sorry. No, it wasn't, not Cecily Strong?
Yes.
Oh, it was. Oh. Okay.
Nicely done.
Cool.
A Peacock series starring Yvonne Strahovski and Scott Speedman about an alien spirit moving from one person. That's right. You knew the name. That's good. I didn't think you would.
I pay attention.
This week, Billy Eichner briefly revived Billy on the Street for a segment called Loud White Men for Kamala. What other loud white celebrity tagged along with him?
Oh, it was like Will Ferrell or something.
Yes.
Oh, it was.
Yes. You're getting lucky guesses here.
Are you saying lucky? Fuck you.
No, not at all. Let's see how this one goes. The World Series between the Los Angeles Dodgers and New York Yankees was watched by an average of 16 million people this year, a 74% jump over last year's matchup. Name one player on either team.
Otani?
Yes! Oh my God!
I know a sport.
Tori, you're cleaning up here. Dave Chappelle hosted the first post-election episode of SNL in 2016, 20, and 22. Who will do so in 2024?
Wow, I know every single one of these.
It was really good, and I'm totally blanking on who it is now. I'm so sorry. I was actually like, oh, that's the smart play. I don't pass. I'm blanking on it.
Bill Burr.
Yeah, and I was like, that's a smart choice.
It is a good choice.
I was like, white guy?
Correct.
But he's like politically kind of centrist. Yeah.
But Bergazzi's already been done, so it's like...
Exactly, yeah. Years after this 80s sitcom figured into a storyline on Damon Lindelof's The Leftovers, its theme song was referenced in the season finale of Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, and I watched it, and it was... I mean, it's not Perfect Strangers.
It is Perfect Strangers.
It was.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
All right, last one. What's the name of Kristen Bell and Adam Brody's Netflix series? Tori?
Nobody wants this.
Yes, you got it this time. Oh, my God.
I had to stop because I was going to say nobody likes this. And I was like, wait, it's the other word.
It's, you got 7 out of 8. I don't think you need to help Dan cheat here.
Well, no, because now he needs to get 7 out of 8 for us to tie. So
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Well, I got to get a pad of paper. I was so excited I spilled my wine.
That's impressive. I think that's the best score.
That's definitely the best score anyone's gotten so far.
No, that's not true. I think you got a
Until
7 out
now,
of 8.
I will tie.
You will tie.
No.
As is foretold in the prophecy.
Well, let's find out. Dan, what CNN anchor was in the SNL audience to witness Chloe Fineman impersonate her?
Caitlin Collins.
Correct.
Wait, is that her name?
It is correct, yes.
Okay.
True or false? Harvey Epstein, the New York State Assemblyman who was the subject of an SNL skit this week, is based on an actual New York State Assemblyman named Harvey Epstein.
True.
That is true, yes. The Floor is a series where contestants are simply asked to identify what is in an image. It's weirdly popular and now in the midst of its second season on Fox. Who hosts it?
Rob Lowe.
That is correct.
Can't help you.
What former Gilmore Girls cast member has been cast as the ex-wife of Harrison Ford in an upcoming arc on Shrinking?
I would help. I don't remember her name, but I know who she played.
Gilmore Girls. I don't know who
It's the grandmother.
The grandmother.
Nobody knows her name.
That is Kelly Bishop. Everybody knows her name.
Do they? Did you know her name?
I think.
No. Anyway, all right, that's my one miss.
Okay.
All right. On the Joe Rogan podcast last week, what Netflix series did J.D. Vance call a masterpiece?
Wait, Netflix series? J.D. Vance? Outer Banks.
Actually, that's close. It's Emily in Paris.
Oh. How is that close?
Well, I think it's sort of the same level of.
I was going to say, what was the one with Danny Masterson and Ashton Kutcher? Was it like The Farm or whatever?
The Ranch.
The Ranch. Yeah. Victoria Jackson appeared on the Fly on the Wall podcast this week and took issue with what recurring SNL personality who once said her boobs were like 2 garbage cans.
Dana Carvey?
No, I was specific in saying a recurring SNL personality, not cast member.
SNL personality.
Oh, so it's like a character.
Well, no, it's a person who is frequently associated with SNL, but was never actually a cast member, like Steve Martin, but not.
Martin Short?
No, boobs are like trash cans.
Yeah, who would say that?
Donald Trump?
Close. Alec Baldwin.
I mean, I don't know if I'd call that. All right, whatever. It's fine.
I mean,
I take issue with your wording.
Yeah, that was.
He's
really
in the 5-timers. He's been on SNL many
Calling
times.
him a personality is a misleading.
Yeah.
I think.
You
I
could
had
just call him
recurring
a
SNL
5-timers.
figure. Well, he's more than that because he's been on many times.
You could say actor.
in cameos, sure, but not. I wanted. Okay.
Anyway,
I just
doesn't
wanted
matter.
him to
It
be
doesn't matter.
associated with SNL.
Yeah.
I was confused. Was he saying so? He called her boobs like trash cans, or he was saying his own boobs were like trash cans?
No, hers were like 2 garbage cans.
You could have
That
said
was
30 Rock cast member.
Yeah, that was the wording I didn't understand because I was like,
Well, 30 Rock
boobs?
cast member would have given it away.
Well, I mean, obviously, I would have guessed Jack McBrayer. So,
I would have said,
Yeah, of course.
yeah, I don't know.
anyway. Personality
what
also
popular-
suggests they're not on camera, by the way. So that's
Lorne
also
Michaels.
like, yeah, I was thinking Lorne Michaels, but I was like, that doesn't sound right.
What popular television showrunner, this is for you, Dan, devoted 2.5 satisfying hours this week on his podcast to shit-talking the Yankees loss?
Michael Schur.
That is correct. And did you listen to it?
Not yet. It's next up in my queue. I'm very excited.
It was very fun. Dan Butler's Bob Bulldog Briscoe, a misogynist talk show host on the original Frasier, returned to the revival this week with what ironic announcement?
That he's gay.
Yes, that is correct. And that is the end. You did not beat Tori. Tori wins this week.
We tied.
Nope, there's no getting around it.
There was
Tori definitely won this week.
Confusing wording.
We're
tied overall.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's
I think
what
overall.
it is. Yeah, okay.
3, 4. I mean, you
me.
missed 3. So you got 5 out of 8. And even if you put aside the Alec Baldwin, and you shouldn't, you would have gotten 5 out of 7.
No, but here's how we know we tied. All the ones that I answered correctly, Dan also knew, but all the ones I didn't know any of the ones that he had.
Yeah.
And that's how the questions.
The important thing is that we are
formulated.
tied overall.
Yeah.
I think either way.
I don't even think that's true.
Spiritually,
Dustin,
I think we're equals.
you can't bring, unless you can bring statistics that show this. I think that, look, what we're saying, Dustin, is that it's a real horse race. We don't know who's going to win. It could go either way. And, there is a possibility of a statistical tie after we run every single round of this and we end up at 269. So
that may be true, but you got crushed this week.
Well, you can't win them all.
So is Ohtani a Dodger?
He is a Dodger.
He is.
Okay.
He is.
Cool.
He was. He suffered for 6 years in Anaheim, where they never went to the playoffs because Anaheim is terrible at baseball, and
yet had like the 2 best players.
They had 2 of the best players in baseball,
still couldn't do it.
and still were terrible because they are not a franchise worth speaking about. And then his first season with the real Los Angeles team, the Dodgers, and they win the World Series. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
thanks to Freddie Freeman.
Well, thanks to a lot of players.
Former Brave.
Freddie Freeman.
Also, I'd forgotten that Freddie Freeman's kid is going through this ordeal, and oh my God, he's just the best guy.
Yeah. And from he's from the greater Los Angeles area. He's from Orange County technically, but that's okay.
Is he?
Yeah.
Huh.
So he's local to the area. Jack Flaherty, who pitched for the Dodgers in the World Series, is local from the area. It's just it was a part of why I haven't watched that much TV in the last couple of weeks is because I've been watching a lot of baseball, and it has been very satisfying as a longtime Dodgers fan since I was a small
and you
child.
haven't won the World Series in a whole 5 years?
All right, so here's the thing:
4 years.
They did not get to celebrate the 2020 championship because of COVID. Also, there were a lot of haters online saying that didn't count because it was only a 60-game season and blah, blah, blah. And look, we didn't get to boo the Astros that year because for the first time that they were playing the Astros, they were supposed to play them in Dodger Stadium. No fans could go. And so fans couldn't go boo the Houston Astros for cheating in 2017. This should be the third Dodgers title in the past 7 years, but it's not. It's only the second. That's okay. We're moving past that. But the point is that, look, the Los Angeles, aren't you a Braves fan? Didn't the Braves win not that long ago? Yeah. So what are you complaining about? Don't worry about it.
I'm not.
Anyway,
I'm not complaining.
All right, Dustin.
You beat the Yankees. I'm happy.
You've ceded the floor now to the Los Angeles Dodgers, who, with Ohtani signed for forever on a very reasonable deal, and Mookie on a long-term contract, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto on a 12-year deal. Look, all I'm saying is that they might not win another title, but they have the opportunity. They will be in contention
with the Braves.
The Braves are a good team. They kind of they had a lot of injuries this year. Their pitching staff their pitching staff had as many injuries as the Dodgers pitching staff. But the difference being the Dodgers won the World Series. So.
Acuna went down and the best player in baseball.
Yeah. Also, shouldn't have gotten rid of Freddie Freeman. Let him walk away. Let him walk away.
That one hurt. I don't agree with that decision. Terrible decision. Torrey's
I do think that he probably wanted to go back to the Southern California area. I think that
it worked out for everyone.
It worked out for everyone.
Well, he hit a home run in 6 World Series games in a row, dating back to his days with Atlanta,
which is a record.
Mm-hmm. Torrey's I don't give a shit.
Torrey knows who Shohei Ohtani is. Actually, Torrey, you should be aware that Shohei has a dog named Decoy, and Decoy not only stole the show at the celebration parade, he also has thrown out a pitch earlier this season where he went on the mound, picked up the ball, and ran it to Shohei at home plate. And I'll send you the video later. It's amazing.
Okay, now I am fully invested in this dog.
Yeah. Decoy is everyone's favorite. We want nothing but the best for Decoy. So.
Yes.
And Ohtani really is kind of the most interesting player in baseball maybe ever.
Is he?
There's no other, just because
he you mean pitch. In terms of his skill set? I thought you meant
yes.
In terms of his charisma.
Oh, no, he's not particularly
I thought we were talking about the bookkeeping.
No.
Okay, he didn't have anything to do with that.
No,
it's been proven.
No, it was his bookkeeper.
It's been proven. No, it was his
Sorry,
translator.
I'm really winking.
It was his translator / best friend.
Yes.
Who stole all this money from him.
Of course,
so, it's not how is he supposed to know?
He had no idea.
Look, he has so much money. How could he possibly know where all this money is going? Legally it's been proven. It's been proven that he's a victim of all of this.
Yes.
Ohtani did nothing wrong, and we're sticking with that. Anyway, let's talk Survivor. Speaking of people who did nothing wrong. I have lost my winner pick, Tiana. Pouring one out for Tiana from Hawaii.
Wait, but that means you get to pick a new one.
It does, but it also means that Tori, you have won. At least the first round, because Sue has already made it past all of our picks.
Why do you hate older women, Dustin?
I don't think you need to qualify it with older.
She's 45. She is only 5 years older than me.
Yeah, she's a younger woman to you, Dustin.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, all right. I think Sue was like running the show there too. I think I think she might have a small villain streak.
Oh yeah.
Or some control issues.
Oh no,
and I think people are afraid of her.
She's like low key the villain. Like not like she feels like a gangster. Like no one's saying it, but it definitely like at some point if they reveal that like she's been threatening people on the side and like when the camera is never on, like I would not be surprised. I love her.
I do not.
I do not think she's going to win, but I am so happy that she's my pick.
Yeah.
I think she's going to have. I think she's going to be
see
real
her going far.
She's going to go far, and I think it's going to get real interesting and dirty, and she's going to be absolutely batshit, and I'm so excited.
Because there's a lot of like Godfather types, but they talk about it constantly, and that gets them. She's just like quiet. She's just like, yeah.
But to be fair, I'm not sure. This was one of the things where like on my little like friend chat, we were talking about like, you know, oh, she was like unmoved by like what was going on. Like everyone was having these huge reactions, and Sue's just like kind of ice queen. And like, to be honest, I'm not sure her facial muscles move that much.
Well, that's also true.
Which I think helps. This is, again, not a complaint, not a knock against her. I'm just like, let's be honest. I think it's really easy to be stone-faced.
When you're, sure.
Potentially have, anyway. I'm just really
when you're 45.
When you're 45.
That's right.
Yeah.
She is 45.
Yeah.
Wow.
And looks great.
Yeah. So this week was kind of the variation on this was almost like the week that that they used to that they have done in previous seasons, where like you're not officially merged, but half the half the tribe is safe and the other half has to deal with isn't, and so you're dealing with that. And
also, you're the last person not making the jury.
Right.
Yeah.
So they did. So they did that. It feels kind of like they shifted it a week, as tends to happen. It's interesting how this does feel like, for whatever reason, it happens on Survivor more than you'd think, even though they say that all of these draws are truly random, but the draw was shaped in a way that it led to one balanced tribe and one all of Tatu plus Rachel.
Right. And they lost.
So then it ends up, which, again, you can't control for that part, but it definitely created an instant like storyline for, okay, are they just going to try to vote out Rachel, who's kind of been scrambling, who's kind of on the bottom of Gata anyway?
Right.
Or are they going to, are they going to try to pull a bigger move?
Right.
I don't think that the draw, I believe that the draw is random, but I think that the advantage was definitely inserted into the game because of the way the draw happened.
Oh, you think that was the audible? That because of that, that's why there's an advantage to help out.
Well, that specific advantage.
Yeah.
Where they were like, you can only use it tonight.
Right. And it's
you
not for
you have
you.
To, you have to send it to someone else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, but that was the whole thing. Like, so Saul's the one who found the advantage. And it was a great bit of television where, because the camera very obviously is like, here is a thing in a planter.
Right.
And keeps cutting back to it. And it's all of them just like hanging out and being full and rolling around and like nobody's noticing it. So there was a good bit of tension of just like, is somebody going to figure it out? And then, like Saul finally does because he's great. Plays it close to his chest. And then, but that was the whole thing. He had the option to not play it at all. Like you can get that advantage and choose not to send it to someone and let them, play it out. Or, and then he could choose to send it to, does he want to save Rachel or not? Send it to Gata, but it's kind of pointless if you send it to somebody else. And then even then it had two options. So it's like you send it, but the person who receives it chooses which of the two options they want to go with.
Right.
It was kind of stupid because, like, if it's Rachel, she is obviously going to choose the
safety without power.
Like, I don't have to vote, but you can't vote for me.
Yeah.
I'm out. Like, it was like obvious she was going to do that. But it was just so satisfying seeing it go down that way.
See, I felt like that was where not the fix, but the producer hand came in, was choosing which powers would be available. Like, I feel like the fact that safety without power, maybe they would have thrown it in there anyway, but it feels like that was thrown in because there was a clear 1-on-5.
Yeah.
To be like, okay, you can throw this to whoever, but especially if you give it to the person who's alone, then they have they basically have immunity.
They can, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm trying to remember, and for some reason, are Rachel and Saul on the same tribe? We're on the same tribe?
No.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. This was just, do you want to screw with
Tatu?
Tatu, yeah.
Yeah.
But Saul has now hopefully got like an ally the rest of the game.
Well, and that's the thing.
So
nobody,
my two favorite players.
Yeah. No, they're both great. And he didn't let anyone else know that he was the one that got it. So he did this whole like, oh, who did that? Like, it was very funny. So I'm curious to see what happens this week. Like, if he's going to pull her aside and reveal, like, because that's the thing. That is a great way to get someone on your side. And Rachel, just from the outside, would seem like someone you would want in your debt.
Right.
And someone like Saul, who has been, on the bottom repeatedly through no fault of his own. I think, he's a smart enough player to realize that.
And they're both players who don't really have a real number one. So if they wanted to, if they have, if they can work together, because who knows if they can, but if they could work together, then all of a sudden they could be a strong duo.
Right.
Because they're both smart players who kind of had bad circumstances.
And having it be secretive is great. Like, if Saul doesn't let anyone else know,
they're kind of the only two players there that could actually keep their alliance secret.
Yeah.
Because everybody else would just blab.
Yeah.
So this is like real exciting. It did throw a wrench into everything else that was going on, because there were it was interesting to see Tatu like kind of grapple with the implications of, like, obviously Rachel being the obvious vote, but then, like, what does that mean? They would be a 5-person strong tribe coming out of it. They would have a target on their back if they don't lose a player.
Right.
So, you had Tiana kind of very, I think, honestly wanting to, she just had it in for Gabe, but like, pretty honestly wanting to go that route, voting one of her own out just to like prevent that future scenario.
Right.
And Gabe using the same justification as a mask to get Rachel to essentially not play her shot in the dark. It was amazing seeing two people come to Rachel with the exact same game plan, exact same like justification.
Yeah.
But one was being genuine and the other one was just trying to prevent her from playing the shot in the dark. And that, you don't know, because you sit there and she could have believed one of them. She might have thought she was in a plan. It wasn't going to work for her because Caroline was, not going to play ball.
Right.
For reasons that weren't wrong either.
Yeah.
But are frustrating. So it was just very satisfying. She kind of go into the vote and it was taking forever. And you're like, there's got to be like, what's going on? Like, and you don't, because that's the whole thing. Like, you don't know at that point, like, if she got the advantage, what's going on. They go through the whole opening of Tribal where like they're talking about their justifications. Rachel is acting like she's going to vote.
Right.
And then she just suddenly is like, oh, actually, Jeff, I found this thing in my bag and I'm out. And it was just like, yes.
Yeah, it was very well executed, I feel like.
Logistically, we never saw it, so I am actually kind of curious how Saul got it to her without her knowing.
She doesn't know. I think that
one's producers.
Yeah, because it's like
he didn't have to slip it in her bag.
He just has to go to it's like he found it. He has to go to the people and just say, like, this is who I want it given to, and they will go.
Yeah.
So production does it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. She didn't like.
Yeah, because they were at separate camps the whole time. So.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Like when he read it, it says like, who do you want this given to? Like they'll handle it.
Okay. And she was smartly, they made her wait until, but she didn't know what it was, right? Right until she read it.
No, well, she said she read it enough because it said, like, if you're going to use this, interrupt Jeff when he's sending you to vote.
Yeah, I'm sure she read it before, probably right before Tribal.
Right before, yeah.
Yeah. The other thing that was interesting in this episode was to hear Dustin, your guy,
Sam,
who kept talking about, like, oh, our teammate Rachel. I'm like, you've never really been interested in anything Rachel's doing until now.
No.
She's like, okay, Sam. We see. Good luck with that.
Yeah. And this is also, again, like, I'm rooting for Rachel because I have a feeling she's going to turn around. Like, when she gets a little bit of power, she is going to ruin Sierra and Sam. Mm-hmm. And I'm just waiting to figure out who she ruins first.
Mm-hmm. That will be fun.
And I will lap it up. Those two are driving me nuts. Because their alliance is stupid. They're stupid. I don't.
The amazing thing is that Andy has kind of become like a in the middle guy who, like, is not a liability yet and is not pissing everyone off.
This is the episode where Genevieve and, like, was this the episode where Genevieve kind of sides with him, or like like, so he basically finds out that he was going, because it was like, that was the whole thing. There were votes thrown against him. And so Saul addresses him, which was a little ridiculous. Saul didn't have to explain anything, but, and Saul reveals that, like, we needed a backup in case, somebody like Rome had an idol or whatever. Right. And, your tribe was willing to sacrifice you. And Andy's like, well, who put my name out there? And and Saul admits that it was Sam. Yeah. And so, I'm kind of impressed that Andy believes Saul, like, because it is what happened, but it would have also been a really great lie. Right. But yeah, so Andy is like, goes into one of his tailspins sort of like, I must do the math on who I can trust and draw things in the sand and think about this and beautiful mind it. And like, so, yeah, it's going to get interesting because now he's going to pretend to be in alliance with Sam and Sierra, but is working, I think, more with Saul and Genevieve. It seems like he's kind of realizing he can partner with others. So he's going to do some backstabbing.
Saul, Genevieve, and Rachel together. Oh, yeah. That's a really good alliance. And those are like these three super smart players.
But it's also getting a little scary because, like, everyone is using Andy, and he's getting better at being used. But is he going to pull it out?
Somebody. No.
Well, that's my thing. Because everyone's acting like, oh, he was just like panicked and like he'll be fine. And I'm like, no, this guy is still unpredictable and unmedicated. And like, because there's a part of me that's like, he could win. And then there's a part of me that's like, no, he is going to go into the most epic meltdown very soon.
For sure. Yes.
So it's going to be good television, but
yeah, absolutely. But he's definitely going to melt down.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, all in all, an entertaining episode. Unfortunately for Tiana, she does not make jury after her
she was so upset.
Yeah. I wonder if I haven't looked at like any of her exit interviews or any of that, but like I wonder if she could feel it, like, and so that's kind of why she was like worried,
crying beforehand
a little bit. I mean, like I feel like you can kind of like sense sometimes you have a feeling that something's wrong and it just like eats at you. I don't know. Anyway, we have basically wasted our entire episode.
Good.
I don't think we need to call it a waste.
Waste is, you're right. Waste is the wrong word, but we have managed to spend all of our time, so much so that the poop no longer smells. But is there anything that anyone wants to mention in the 5 minutes we have left? I have one show just as a recommendation. If you like Korean competition and you want to see what Korean people think is funny, and also sometimes universally is funny. Comedy Revenge. It is technically a second season, but the first season was called Comedy Royale. They bring in a bunch of Korean comedians who are, they're in teams, and then they compete in various like comedy competitions to try to end up with like the funniest one, basically. It is chaotic, and some of the references to a lot of the references will not make sense unless you know Korean culture. So there are a lot of things that are going over my head, but I don't know. It's still fun. It's still, especially because there is a broadness to Korean comedy that is fairly universal. That like they're doing, like, for example, one set of one challenge, sorry, for all the teams was they had to do they had to improvise within a scripted setting. So it's kind of like that show, Thank God You're Here, if you know that show. And one of the teams was in like a family, essentially a family soap opera, and it ended with they brought out large uncut kimchi cabbages, so that one of them would perform a kimchi slap, which is, I guess, a thing from a specific K-drama. But slapping someone across the face with a big slab of kimchi, you understand that no matter the language. So. Anyway, all I'm saying is it's fun both from a competition standpoint and from a comedy standpoint. And it's also the second season, so they reference the first season every once in a while. It's on Netflix.
I just want like large slabs of kimchi now.
Yeah.
I would just say for people who also like comedy to watch Seth Meyers' new special, and you could watch it tomorrow, or you could watch it next week, or you could watch it next year, because it's not about current events. It's about parenting, and it's about marriage.
And it's on Max.
And it's on Max, and it's very, very funny. Did you watch it, Dan?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I just got to the point in this is how far behind on comedy specials I am, is the latest Ali Wong special on Netflix. I just got to the part where she started talking about dating, about Bill Hader courtship, his courtship.
That was good.
And so I got to the punchline of that, and then I'm like, all right, this is a good pause point because I have to do other stuff. But
I finally watched that this weekend too. Yeah. It was good.
Yeah,
it was good, but it wasn't as uncomfortable as her last special.
No, her
which
last
is
special
not a
was,
bad thing.
Yeah.
Really uncomfortable.
You were red-faced just trying to talk about it.
Yes.
That was hysterical.
Jesus.
Which it was just a natural escalation of her previous specials. Like it felt like a very fitting progression.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I haven't seen Rachel's stand-up special
Bloom's.
yet. Yes.
I haven't seen that yet either. It's more of a one-woman show, I think.
Okay. Well, I think I should watch that.
Yeah, I want to watch it too. Yeah. I'm just saying that it's not traditional stand-up, Dustin. It's not.
There. All right, Dan.
Yeah, but
all right, comedy editor.
Rachel Bloom.
I really do.
I mean, Rachel Bloom's great. I don't know why. Why would you hate on Rachel Bloom, Dustin?
Oh, I don't.
Well, it sounds like you're kind of judging.
Very, very. Okay. No, I'm. All right.
Dustin, did you hear about the show that she and her husband...
I have a crush on Rachel Bloom.
Did you hear about the show that she and her husband are creating, or potentially creating? Pilot. It's a good idea.
I forgot what the idea was, but it was very interesting when I heard it. It's
a half-hour sitcom. So she's Rachel Bloom is married to Dan Gregor, who is a comedy writer. He wrote on How I Met Your Mother. He co-wrote the Chip and Dale movie with his writing partner. But he and Rachel Bloom are creating this, or they sold the pilot, so who knows if it makes it to air. But it is a married couple. You're seeing a married couple in two different like alternate universes. One where they have a kid, one where they don't. Which is they recently had a baby, I think a couple years ago. So clearly inspired by their own parenting adventures.
I think that will be very good and very complicated to pull off.
But
I trust that they can.
All right.
She was on an episode of Frasier 2 weeks ago and was very good.
I feel like this is all just a way of you saying that you're still watching Frasier, even though you've given up on
Why
so
wouldn't-
many other
On
shows.
Paramount Plus.
Quack, quack. Why wouldn't you watch Frasier? I mean, it's an easy 25 minutes, though.
I
And
don't
it's
know.
still Frasier. I mean, I don't know why, but I really, really sort of adore it.
Oh,
I have no
it's
idea.
good.
Why, but
You enjoy it.
yes.
It would never even occur to me to like give it a shot. It's not like Night Court. Night Court, I was like, I will watch this.
And
Frasier,
that
I was
ended
like,
up being not great.
it was fine. It was enjoyable. It was
It's
that
fine.
to me is like that's 25 minutes I can spend.
Yeah.
You're saying Frasier
Sure.
is like better than expected.
Yeah, I think it's not quite as good as the original, but it's not too far off. It needs John Mahoney, but otherwise.
Right. Huh.
It's still fun. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't watched as much as you have, Dustin, but still
It's
an
got that
enjoyable
whole
show.
farce thing going that is very enjoyable.
Yeah.
The stupid misunderstandings that escalate into, I don't know. It's fun.
There's a show where David Tennant fucks. It's also, pretty, I don't know, like fine.
And
It's
what
called
is that show
Rivals.
called? Oh,
It's called Rivals. It's on Hulu. Everyone in it, it's not him, it's everyone. It's a very sort of everyone hooking up with everyone else, everyone's cheating on each other kind of show. He actually has one of the, at least I've only seen the first episode. It ends with like a montage of everyone having sex that you've met throughout the episode, which is pretty funny. And that's where you find out that he is also one of the debaucherous ones because he's like cheating on his wife with this woman and you had no idea. It's an entertaining show. It is very British soap opera feeling. I mean, not like it. I'm not saying it's what British soap operas feel like. I mean, it feels like a British version of a trashy American sort of soap opera. But it is. It's a lot of fun. Set in the 80s, people kind of bickering and backstabbing, but they're all in the Cotswolds, which I only know from, again, Clarkson's Farm. So I'm like, oh, it's beautiful. And then it's the rich people who live there. And, so it's good.
Rivals.
Rivals.
It's on Hulu.
Tennant wears really ugly glasses and these like gold shiny button double-breasted suits. Oh my God.
Because he plays like a rich guy, whenever I see the trailer for it, I really do think of him as like his character in DuckTales.
So that's what's kind of interesting is like he's sort of the nouveau riche guy in it. So there's like, so he comes in. So the two main rivals that as far as I can tell, are him and the Alex Hassel character. And the Alex Hassel character is like, he's like old bloodline lord. He's part of the, like, he works for Thatcher. This is like the 80s. So he's like in Parliament. And he's kind of like, he's more obviously debaucherous, and he's also, you can tell, like, has some feelings about it. Like, he's old money, but like not actually whatever. Tennant was more of like he married into one of the old families to get like the Lord title. But his job is interesting because he's starting a TV company, like a production, like a channel. To make shows. So they're a commercial television enterprise against the BBC. So the first episode is them trying to poach this like very popular BBC journalist. And so it's like the nerdy part of me is like, oh, this is actually like really kind of interesting. It's essentially like ITV versus BBC, where it's like you have these they make money, but they have more freedom because like. But they're also constantly, every 5 years, they're up against, like, essentially the British government can decide whether you're allowed to broadcast or not. So they're constantly having to justify their existence. And so he, like, the journalist is Aidan Turner from Being Human and Hobbit, right? Luke Pasqualino is in it. He was from, like, the second cast of Skins. He's been in a bunch of other stuff, but plays like David Tennant's bastard brother. Like it's really like the cast is bizarre. Like they're all people that you recognize from somewhere. And it's also just kind of about how even like really rich people with titles like will just get drunk and act like fools. Like it's very satisfying. But there is this element of it that's about like the television production space.
But Tennant does not actually swim in gold coins.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet. I'm not going to rule
Dustin,
it out.
we can't say that it's not going to happen.
I don't know.
Well, baby,
it's
I hear the
so
blues
far.
are calling.
Oh my God.
Salad and scrambled eggs.
Well, Dustin singing really does usually mean it's the end of the show. But should we talk about anything else before we go?
I think that's good.
That's good enough.
We didn't talk about Agatha.
Agatha All Along might be the best of the Disney Marvel shows. It's actually really good. Don't let any of the haters. It's like actually a really good show.
Okay.
And the end was wonderful. You find out that Agatha All Along, the title of the show, you may like in the making of the show, like they kept changing the title of it until they finally settled on a title that they should have had from the first place, which was the name of her song in WandaVision, where it's like the big reveal that it was her behind everything all along, right?
Right.
So you think, okay, well, that's obviously why they call it Agatha All Along. Like that's a gimme. No. The reveal in the finale of Agatha All Along is that the plot of Agatha All Along was Agatha All Along. Like it's all a con. So the whole point is that they're on this witch's road to gain power. And it's supposed to be Agatha is one of the only witches to have ever survived it. And you have to have a coven and you go through it. And there's a whole song and there's all this stuff. You get to the last episode and you find out the witch's road never existed. It was a con that Agatha had been pulling for centuries to steal other witches' powers.
That's great.
You never got to it. And the only reason it existed was that the Scarlet Witch's son was part of her coven, was there with her. And so he's Wiccan is his superhero name. He inherited sort of the reality warping powers of his mom. So because he believed in the witch's road, it became real. And so if you go back and watch the show, you see like all the moments where Agatha looks like she has no idea what's going on. It's because she has no idea what's going on. It was never real until he made it real. And then she had to play along. So it's wonderful. Like it's just actually like a really neat take on. And she dies and turns into a ghost that looks exactly like her character in the comics. And Aubrey Plaza is a wonderful death. So it's really a fun show.
Death.
She is Death.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I heard that was a rumor.
Green.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was. And they're in love. She and Agatha had a long romance. And
Oh, nice.
it's a very cool.
I
It
am
is a
very
cool show
happy
to not watch it.
that went well and that Catherine Hahn can now go make good television again.
Yeah,
Not that this wasn't good television.
it was.
But
God damn it.
good television that I like.
Oh, my God.
Weirdly, knowing where it ends now, that actually makes me want to watch it more.
It was
Like
well done.
I'm more interested. I mean, as much as I enjoyed WandaVision, and I did, I don't know why, for whatever reason, I wasn't enthusiastic about this one, even though I love Catherine Hahn and Aubrey Plaza.
I felt the same way.
But
I was kind of like, it felt like it was done. Whatever you needed to know about that character was done in the last show.
Yeah. But understanding now that there's like I don't know, something about the it's like the difficulty of the trick that they're pulling off makes me want to go back and see like, okay, how did they actually do this?
Yeah. And it was that, and I think and part of the reason why it's satisfying is because it then makes the show feel self-contained. Mm-hmm. Like it isn't building to something else. It really is like, no, they just actually made it's an intricate season of television that played by its own rules and only had to justify itself. Mm-hmm. And that is so rare because every time I think a show is going to do that, it ends up with the big Marvel finale. Right. And this is the first time where it's like, oh no, it just was its own thing throughout. Mm-hmm. And so, that made it. I thought it was a lot of fun, and the characters were great. So it's like it's short episodes. Like it was nice. I thought it was very diverting. I'm sorry that it's not Dustin's cup of tea.
No, I don't have anything against it.
I know.
It's just,
It's not Frasier, you know.
That's
okay. And I did like the Hawkeye series.
Good for you.
Okay.
I thought you don't like Christmas music, Dustin.
I know.
Okay, I don't.
Okay.
But I did like that show.
Hawkeye was pretty good.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was like the Die Hard of Marvel TV shows.
Yeah.
He's just trying to get back to his family on Christmas, Dustin. That's all.
Sure, yeah.
God, that feels like forever ago.
It really does.
When was that? I don't even remember.
It was 2 years ago, maybe? I don't know.
Really?
I don't know.
Was it?
Oh,
I
feels
maybe
like
more?
it
Maybe
feels
more?
like it was both
Was it
last
pandemic?
year and 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, I
Isn't
can't
it
even.
still the pandemic? I can't tell. How long
So
did
it's
the
not
pandemic last?
it's not technically the pandemic, but we are infecting as many people as we did.
Right, yeah.
So, anyway,
How much of the bottle did you drink, Story?
I only drank half.
Oh, good. I drink the entire bottle, but
we couldn't tell.
that's abundantly clear.
Congratulations.
On that note, that's the show. Dustin will have a whole new bottle of wine tomorrow, which will be your yesterday because, again, this is releasing on Wednesday. But hopefully your life has turned out the way that you had hoped.
Yes.
For all of you and us. Have a good night. Is that
Good
dark?
night, everybody.
That feels dark.
No, that's
Good
no.
night,
I think that was
everybody.
exactly
No,
the.
that's good.
That's what you do.
It's a good
Look, you're listening to
yeah.
this. It's Survivor Wednesday, or it's past already. Whatever. Anyway.
Bye.
Hi.
Good luck.